going on, guys? Welcome to the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman. Coming up on today's show, we are going to be figuring out what is true and what's not around the New England Patriots' plan with the third pick in this year's draft, because we have got conflicting rumors on what they plan to do. I swear it's one day we're hearing they're keeping the pick and they're drafting a quarterback, and then the next day it's, New England's open to trading off that selection. So we're going to be breaking it down on today's show. But first off, I want to make this point. Whether it's me, Adam Schefter, Tom Pelissero, no matter who it is, nobody truly knows about anything heading in this year's draft class. We can kind of start connecting dots, reading tea leaves and, trying to, pick together on what we think is true, but truly nobody knows about what these NFL GMs and what these front offices are truly planning on doing. But I do think in terms of what New England has planned to do, I think they have three choices. And I think number one, I think they will plan on doing is just staying there and drafting a quarterback, whether that's Jaden Daniels or Drake Maye, whatever one that the Commanders don't draft. I think New England is going to take the other. Now, they also have this choice, number two, which they could stay at that pick, but draft Marvin Harrison Jr. And I don't think this point is being talked about enough because, the Patriots, they got Kendrick Bourne, KJ Osborne. They don't really have a ton of good receivers in that group. Well, what if they see a generational talent in Marvin Harrison, and they just want to take him? I think that is still a possibility. And then the one I would want the most, number three, is for the Patriots just to trade down with the Minnesota Vikings, Denver Broncos, Las Vegas Raiders, whoever it may be, and then fill out a more complete roster. But I do want to get to this report from Adam Schefter as he was talking about the NFL draft and how he thinks it's going to shake out. He says, I think the signs continue to point to Jaden Daniels being the second overall pick, Caleb Williams 1, Jaden Daniels 2, and then the New England Patriots would be on the clock at pick number 3 with the possibility of taking Drake Maye. So Schefter thinks that New England is most likely going to take the North Carolina quarterback, but let's kick it to what Robert Kraft had to say. And this was from a couple weeks ago, but I think it's incredibly interesting because, he is pretty much leaving the door open to the Patriots trading out of this pick. He says, as a fan, I'll put my fan hat on. I definitely would. In the end, you can't win in this league consistently unless you have a first-rate quarterback and a first-rate coach. On the other hand, you're in different positions. We've never been in the third draft position since we've owned the team. Then he carried on to say, and what happens is a lot of teams behind you are really desperate to move up, like the Minnesota Vikings, and so we're going to be open to whatever could come our way. But in the end, I'll let the team make decision what they think is best. And I just got to ask this one question. Are the Patriots ready to draft a rookie quarterback? With that third pick, putting all the pressure on that rookie quarterback, are they necessarily ready to give that rookie QB a solid support system? Because, yes, they do have Jacoby Brissett. He could be a really good bridge quarterback for 6 to 8 games. Then maybe you thrust that rookie QB in there, but he's going to be throwing to Kendrick Bourne, KJ Osborne. Is that what you want, the position for your rookie quarterback to go into with that kind of lackluster support system? If I was running the Patriots, I would probably go a different direction. And Drake Maye had some interesting quotes around the kind of quarterback class. And he said, when I started watching these guys, it was a 3-man race between Williams, Daniels, and Maye. And now as you continue to go on to the combine and the pro days and bringing guys in on the 30 visits, and having to spend time with those guys to really get to know what makes them tick. It's about 5 guys, honestly, that could come in and be solid quarterbacks in the future. Now, I think the Patriots, from what I'm hearing from Drake Maye, what I'm hearing from Robert Kraft, I think they have everything on the table. I think they're more than okay. If they go throughout this whole process and they really love Drake Maye, they are more than okay of just staying there. However, I think the Vikings can make the New England Patriots trade away from this pick. And I fully believe this because I think with where New England's at, they don't have necessarily the best roster around a rookie quarterback that could get thrust in there. I think the Vikings could, almost make the Patriots question their love for a rookie quarterback. If they like Drake Maye, they like Jaden Daniels, but they don't love either of these guys, I think the Vikings can submit them an offer where then they're sitting there saying, man, this is almost too good to refuse. We got to build a solid roster, first, and then we can go get the quarterback position right. Well, this is the trade I cooked up, and this is what I think it would be if the Vikings were to trade up for the third overall pick. Obviously, Minnesota would be getting that number 3 pick. Patriots would be getting 11, 23, next year's first and next year's third. So you're giving up 3 first and a third round pick. And hey, man, I would even be willing to add in an extra fourth from this season or even an extra fifth just to get this done. And to the camp that is always, saying like, oh, I don't want to trade, future draft capital for a rookie quarterback. Who cares about next year's first round pick? I think it's easy for me to get up here and say, F them picks. I want the Vikings to go all in and all of that. Like, yes, it's easy for me to say that, but I think every situation is different. And I think the situation the Vikings are in right now, next year's first round pick is not necessarily, it wouldn't be the biggest deal in the world to lose that, because I want to look at the Vikings cap space for the next 2 seasons. Next year, the Vikings are projected to have $102 million in cap. 2026, $182 million. So even if the Vikings still have a position of need, you still want to kind of, fill out the rest of this roster next season. You may be nervous about giving up that first round pick. Well, they got $102 million to spend with potentially next season. You can go get that corner. You can go get the defensive lineman, whoever it may be. So, yes, it's a lot easier for me to say, F them picks, let's move off it. But I think with where the Vikings are at right now, I think it makes a whole lot of sense. But let me know, would you accept this trade? If you're a Vikings fan watching this video, would you be tight, or would you accept this deal? Or if you're a Patriots fan, let me know your thoughts down below. Is this enough to get you to move off that 3rd overall pick? Give me an A for accept, or give me a D for decline. Now, my message to the Vikings front office would be this. If you truly love Drake Maye and you believe he is your guy and he is that needle mover, just go get him. I think the Patriots are clearly open enough to trading off that pick. So I would do whatever it takes. Go get that guy. If it is Drake Maye, send them whatever they want for that 3rd overall pick, because you could send them, 3 firsts, a couple thirds, a couple fourths, like whatever it takes to get the deal done. Just go do it, because nothing moves the needle in sports like having a franchise quarterback. And we'll get some more thoughts about this in a second. But at first, I do want to give a big time shout out to today's sponsor, and that is Prize Picks. If you guys head to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use promo code CLNS, we will match your first deposit up to $100. Even though the action on the hardwood, or even though football season is not here, the action on the hardwood is heating up. And whether it's March Madness with the championship game on Monday, or just the NBA season with the playoffs just around the corner, there's no shortage of lineups and plays that you can make. So make sure you guys head to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use promo code CLNS for a first deposit match up to $100. Win big money today. It's simple. All you do is pick more than or pick less than on a 2 to 6 player stat projections, and you guys can start seeing the cash roll in today. It's my favorite app on my phone, and even if games are a blowout or they just don't have a lot of juice to them, if you make a Prize Picks lineup, it definitely will help you just enjoy the game a little more. And I absolutely love using Prize Picks, so I really encourage you guys, download the app, click the link that's in the comment section and description of today's show. It's prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use promo code CLNS and get a first deposit match up to $100. So I want to kick it to Greg Cosell, who is my favorite film analyst that covers NFL. And he had this interesting quote around Drake Maye and the Minnesota Vikings. He said, I would love to see someone like Drake Maye in the Kevin O'Connell offense. I would love to see Drake Maye in the context of that offense. And I totally agree. Like, if I was personally a rookie quarterback and I was coming out of this year's class, like, I would be almost begging that the Minnesota Vikings take me. Because, one, you're going to throw that guy right there, Justin Jefferson. That's going to be pretty freaking cool for a rookie quarterback. But also with just the offense the Vikings run, it's very quarterback friendly. Yes, it is tough to kind of, at first, we've heard Kirk Cousins talk about it. It was really hard at first to kind of, for him to grasp it. But he said once he did grasp it and get a hang of it, it was smooth sailing from there. So I think a rookie quarterback, you could sit behind Sam Darnold for a season, then kind of next year be fully ready to go. I think the Vikings would be an ideal landing spot for me. But Charlie Walters, he does cover the Minnesota Vikings. He wrote this up, just another report out there. He said the Vikings probably need to shoot up to number 4 in the draft to either get quarterbacks Drake Maye of North Carolina or JJ McCarthy of Michigan. It's likely the Vikings take either. And listen, yeah, I've been in that camp for a while. I think the Vikings, it's going to come down to 2 choices. And, there is that third choice that they just sit there at picks 11 and picks 23 and just draft BPA and maybe get a couple really solid defensive players. But, I think they got 2 choices. It's either send 3 first-round picks, send an overwhelming Godfather offer to New England, and you go get your guy Drake Maye, or you send picks 11 and picks 23 to either Arizona or the Los Angeles Chargers, and you get JJ McCarthy. I've said this, though. I think a trade with the Chargers won't come until the actual, literally like 2 minutes before the Chargers are picking at pick number 5, because I don't think the Vikings would want to risk them trading up to pick number 5 and then having somebody jump them to pick number 4, like the Raiders or the Broncos. So I think if it's JJ McCarthy, he'll be picked at pick number 5, but if it's Drake Maye, it will be him at pick number 2. But let's finish today's show off by talking about what Jordan Renan said, who covers the New York Giants. And he said this. He says, it seems more likely by the day that 4 of the top 5 picks will end up being quarterbacks, especially with the Minnesota Vikings, who own number 11, having made it clear in league circles that they are serious about landing one of the top quarterbacks. And again, guys, this is the worst kept secret in the NFL, is that the Vikings are trying to trade up. They almost made it almost too obvious that they want to go get a QB following the Houston Texans trade. So listen, whatever the Vikings end up doing, whether it's JJ McCarthy, Drake Maye, I fully believe that they will both work out here in Minnesota. But hey, you guys decide for me. If you guys had to pick one, would it be JJ McCarthy, type of JJ, or would it be Drake Maye? Give me a DM down below in the comment section. Pick a QB for me. And as always, guys, make sure you guys are subscribed here to the channel. We're closing in on 25,000 subs, so thank you guys so much for, showing support on the channel as of lately. But if you guys aren't, hit that sub button, lock us in. See y'all next time. Let's go Vikes.